United States is deploying up to 200 military personnel to the Middle East as part of efforts to monitor and support a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The move, announced this week, follows a deal brokered by US President Donald Trump and is aimed at easing tensions after 2 years of war in Gaza. But as more details emerge, confusion is growing over where exactly the US troops will be stationed and what role they will actually play on the ground. According to Fox News, US troops from Central Command are already beginning to arrive in the region. Their mission is to set up a civil military coordination center to monitor the ceasefire, assist with logistics, and help coordinate humanitarian aid into Gaza. A senior US official told Fox that the team includes experts in logistics, transportation, security, and engineering. Some are arriving from bases in the US, while others are already in the region. Importantly, officials emphasize that no American troops will enter Gaza. The ceasefire officially began Friday at noon, local time, following Israel's overnight approval of the first phase of the Trump-brokered deal. As part of the agreement, Israeli forces partially withdrew from Gaza, and Hamas is expected to begin releasing hostages within a 72-hour window. Trump's envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, confirmed that CENTCOM verified Israel had met the withdrawal conditions, allowing the ceasefire to take effect. Talks leading up to the agreement took place in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, and included Admiral Brad Cooper, CENTCOM's commander, who is now overseeing the US military team. According to the BBC, the US military is forming a multinational task force that could include military officials from Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and the UAE. The team will operate a joint control center, acting as a communication channel between Israel, Hamas, and regional mediators to help monitor the ceasefire and manage any violations. One senior US official told the Times of Israel that Admiral Cooper will lead an initial deployment of 200 troops who will observe, oversee, and ensure there are no violations. These forces, they said, would help integrate other international military personnel and work closely with the Israeli Defense Forces.
The notion is to make it collegial. The Israelis will obviously be in constant touch with them.
However, there's growing confusion about where exactly the troops will be stationed. A source told the Times of Israel that Egypt is the most likely location, citing diplomatic challenges that Israel, for example, lacks formal relations with Qatar and has strained ties with Turkey. But the White House offered a different account. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt pushed back on early reporting, including from Fox News, calling it misleading and lacking context.
This is not true and taken out of context. To be clear, up to 200 U.S. personnel who are already stationed at CENTCOM will be tasked with monitoring the peace agreement in Israel, and they will work with other international forces on the ground.
Officials say the troops are not newly deployed to Israel, but rather reassigned from within the region, some of whom are already in country. According to The Guardian and Associated Press, the Civil Military Center will also help coordinate the flow of humanitarian assistance, food, water, medicine, and supplies into Gaza, which has seen widespread devastation from the conflict. Since the war began after Hamas's October 7, 2023 attacks, more than 67,000 Palestinians have been killed, including over 18,000 children, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry. UN officials estimate that over 2 million people have been displaced, and food aid has reached only a fraction of the population. UN Humanitarian Chief Tom Fletcher called for full access to deliver supplies at a much, much greater scale.
Given the level of needs, the level of starvation, the level of misery and despair will require a massive collective effort. And that's what we're mobilized for. We are absolutely ready to roll and deliver at scale.
While the ceasefire is now in effect, major questions remain. Will Hamas disarm? Will Israel fully withdraw? And what comes next for Gaza's future governance? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the ceasefire was necessary to bring home remaining hostages, but warned that Israel would not back down on its core demands.
If this is achieved the easy way, so much the better. If not, it will be done the hard way.
For now, US forces are in place, or on their way to help ensure this fragile truce holds. But with regional tensions still high and humanitarian conditions worsening, the role of the US military and its international partners may only grow more critical in the weeks ahead.